everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. What's happening?
I'm Roy Cannaday.
And I'm Mike DeLisio. It's a party.
It's a party.
Woo! Welcome to our 12 Games of Christmas list, where we give you 12 games from different categories. We try to pick games that are available for you to get somewhere, hopefully. The thing is, party games is a trickier category than you might think. If you go to the mass market store, you'll find the same old ones and a lot of really, really bad ones. And so hopefully this list will help you find some good party games when you get together. Well, when someday you get together with people to play party games. This will be the least watched list ever.
Oh, it's interesting because you're right. It's the sort of the most readily available, the widest category.
Yeah.
And still the narrowest category. You know, if a good party game came out 4 years ago,
right,
it rises to the top of the conversation still because it's hard to make a really distinct one. So, yeah, it's interesting. Makes good gifts, though.
It does.
Well,
Great gifts.
We'll start with the most party animal of us all, Z Garcia.
Ooh.
My first pick is Obscurio. I love games where you, especially party games, where you're not sure who you can trust at the table, and Obscurio is one of those. You are going to be given clues by one player who represents this haunted library, this book that wants to find its way back. You're given clues, you're trying to figure out which of these clues is true, which of them are thrown in by other players trying to mess you up, trying to mostly cooperate, but being careful that there's somebody among you who is trying to throw you off of the correct path. Very cool, gorgeously illustrated, really nice components, quick playing. I like this one a lot. I think it's a slam dunk. I think you and your friends, or maybe the folks you're going to give this as a gift to, are really going to like it as well. Obscurio.
Okay, my first game on the party games list is one of my favorite games. This is Deception Murder in Hong Kong. And in Deception Murder in Hong Kong, you are playing investigators trying to determine who committed a murder. However, at the beginning of the game, cards are dealt out to show who the different roles are, and one of the people around the table is not an investigator. They are actually the murderer. And the way you figure this out is you have someone who is known as the forensic scientist. They know who the murderer is, but they can't directly communicate to the rest of the team who the murderer is. They have to give them clues through these little tiles that kind of will give them some indication of what might have happened, where it might have happened, how it might have happened. And everybody has in front of them a series of cards that are representing evidence or potential motives. And so depending on what you've got in front of you, you may have to say, look, I know they said that it was a blunt instrument and I've got this hammer in front of me, but over there, they've got a brick. That's just as much of a blunt instrument as me, and these other cards don't make any sense based on what they're saying. So it leads to a lot of fun table talk, a lot of paranoia, a lot of this feeling of who's not telling the truth, who is being a little bit deceptive in the way they talk. That is Deception Murder in Hong Kong.
Deception Murder in Hong Kong is a great pick, Mike. So, Just One is a party game that I think is really great. It's a cooperative game where one player sees a word and then all the players are trying to secretly write words that relate to that word without saying it. You only get one word that you can say. Then everybody reveals it and any duplicates are erased. Then the player that had the word has to try to guess with what's left. So there can be all sorts of situations where lots of things could get eliminated. You have to think of like obscure things that are related off something. Like if it's chocolate, somebody might say sweet or tasty, but if two people say the same thing, it's going to be eliminated. So this is an exciting cooperative game that's really fun to play in all sorts of different party situations.
Just One is indeed a great party game. So now let's take one and cut it in half for Half Truth. Now, Half Truth gives you 6 answers to a question. So it's kind of a trivia game, but it's a trivia game where you may or may not know some of the answers. So it might say who was born in 1892, or what's faster than 60 miles an hour, or some question like that. There are 6 answers. 3 of them are true, 3 of them are false. And you look at those 6 answers and you can guess 1, 2, or 3. The thing is, if you guess 1, I can sit there and go, well, I know 1 for sure. Well, good. I'll get it correct, but only get a few points. 3 will get me more points, but I have to have all 3 correct. So it has that little bit of a push your luck aspect to it. And the questions themselves are very rarely questions where I go, I definitely know these answers. And I like that. Trivia games can be overwhelming. You know it or you don't. But this one here has a little bit of more nebulous. And with that in mind and a little bit of push your luck, I found that this makes a really fun party game, Half Truth.
All right, second pick for me is a game called Coyote, which is actually a reprint of a game that's been printed many times before. In this one, you are given a card. You're going to hold that card up, and you're going to only allow the other players to see it. Nobody else can see that card, and so you can see everyone else's. And then you're going to figure out, you're going to go around the table saying what you think the total is among all of you. Don't forget, you can see your own card. And at some point, someone in the group just goes, no, that's insane. That number is simply incredulous. I'm going to call it. There's no way. And then you reveal them all and see who was right. It's very fun. I've played personally this one, a previous edition I have, many times. Always laughs. Always a fantastic time. Coyote, get on this game. You're going to love it.
My next party game is a pure bluffing game, and this is called Skull. And in Skull, it's a really simple game. Everybody's got a set of really what look to be drink coasters in front of them. And on the back side, they'll either have a rose or they'll have a skull. And so what you'll do is you'll play one of your coasters face down in front of you, and it will go this way around the table, everyone playing a coaster face down, potentially playing a second or third on top of what you already have, until somebody wants to make a guess. And they say, I can turn over 4 coasters without hitting a skull. And then at that point, other people can outbid them and say, well, I can turn over 5. And it just goes this way until somebody hits a number that no one else is willing to go above. And at that point, that person who has the highest bid, starting with their own stack, has to flip over their coasters. And they have to try to keep going and hope that they don't run into a skull. So they might flip over their first one and it's a rose. If they put a bunch of roses in front of them, they may just flip their own. But it leads to a lot of really, really fun interactions around the table where you can kind of trick people into thinking that you have a bunch of roses in front of you when really you've got a skull, and maybe you even started the bid. It just is a really simple, silly, ridiculous fun game. That's Skull.
All right, my next one here is QE. This is a bidding game where you're secretly bidding on stuff, but you can bid any amount you want. So the sky's the limit. But if you, at the end of the game, have bid the most over the whole game, you're going to lose. So you're trying to collect these different sets of different corporations and organizations as you're playing different countries. And you're trying to be able to bail these different places out, but then also be able to have the most points, but not be too high on the betting. So there's this crazy thing in the game where it just ramps up and ramps up and ramps up. And the numbers at the beginning of the game can be inconsequential when the numbers at the end of the game are so astronomical. It's definitely an exciting, fun party game.
If you know me, you know I like colors, and that's what Hues and Cues is. You ever went to the paint section of a store and looked at those cards with all the different colors? Hues and Cues has a whole board full of colors. And in this game, you have a specific color in your hand, and you are giving people clues, and they are trying to guess that color. Now, more people who get it correct, more points for you, and people are trying to guess as closely to the correct shade as they can. It's very entertaining. You know exactly what color is a plum or a dandelion or the inside of the sun or whatever clue you might give. And I really like that. It's just a very simple game. It can play a lot of people. It's easy to jump into, and everybody likes talking about color. And you might be surprised this game is trickier than you might think, because cheese might look like one shade of yellow to you, but it might be more white to somebody else. Very entertaining, easy. If you're having a Christmas party, this is certainly one I'd recommend. Hues and Cues.
My final pick here, called One Key, is a little bit like my first pick, Obscurio, but this one's more straightforward. This one, everybody is working together, and you are going to attempt to decipher one secret painting among 11 or so from the clues that the person who knows the answer is giving you. Now, they're not spoken clues, they're just sort of nebulous clues. You're trying to correlate one painting to another. Oh, they said this was a good painting as a guide for the one I'm actually looking for. Gosh, there's some similar shapes, maybe some similar colors. What are they pointing at? And you're all working together, talking about what you think the right answer is. very engaging, immediately engaging. I like that about it. You are immediately going to be chatting about what's going on, and it's very quick too. Pretty game too. It checks all the boxes for me. Check this one out. One key.
All right, my final game on the party list is called Wavelength. And Wavelength has this kind of beautiful plastic centerpiece component, which kind of depicts this range. And so what you'll do is you'll have somebody on a team. It's a team-based game. And somebody on the team is known as the psychic. And they know where in this range they need to get their team to guess. And so let's say, for example, they pull a clue and it's hot on one side and cold on the other. And they know that the range is much closer to the cold side, so almost really all the way towards the end of the cold side. They have to come up with a clue that's going to get their team to move the slider in that range. And so they wouldn't say something like the sun. Obviously, that would be way over on the hot side. They may say something like ice cube, thinking that that's going to get their team to move it way over in that range they're looking for. However, what's really fun about this game is that oftentimes things that you think are obvious are not necessarily obvious to other people. They might say, well, an ice cube is cold, but it's not as cold as liquid nitrogen. And so that throws your whole scale off. And it really leads to some fun, interesting table talk, which to me is one of the highlights of any good party game. So that is Wavelength.
My next one here is an older party game, but it is one that I cannot play without crying laughing, and that is Telestrations. This is a game, it's basically like the game Telephone, but with drawing and writing words. Basically, you get a word, you have to draw it, then you flip the page, and the next person sees the drawing, they guess what the word is, and it just goes around and around and around, and this game can be hilarious depending on your group. It can also be as family friendly or as crazy as you want it to be, depending on how you play the game, but it's also very much an activity just seeing what happens in those books. The best part is recapping afterwards everything that everyone drew, and not drawing good makes this game even better because people come up with crazy words and crazy things that happen. So Telestration is a great, exciting party game.
One of the games I really enjoy is Mastermind, where you're trying to figure out a sequence of clues. A lot of people like this, what's red, blue, green, yellow. So Master Word is very similar to that, but it's a cooperative game where all the players are working together. And we are trying to figure out what this Master Word is by giving you clue words, and you tell us if some of those clues are correct and some of them are incorrect. And we're trying to figure out, using the incorrect clues that we are getting back and forth, to guess what that master word is. This is a more thinky party game than several of the others that are on this list, but because it's cooperative, it's a lot of fun. In fact, I think I lose this game more often than not, but each time we come back and we're like, all right, this time we're going to get the master word. This time we're going to figure it out. And as you sit there and you're cooperatively talking together and saying, well, they said 3 of these clues are correct and there's 4 there. So animal is probably the incorrect one because the last time we only had 1 correct clue and whatever. And so you're working together using these clues to get to an answer. And it sounds like it's not that difficult, but it is tricky, and it's almost outside the realm of party game, but it fits in that atmosphere. So it's one that I wanted to talk about here. That's Master Word.
It's interesting. There's a lot of thinky party games on this list, games that make you think, but there's also silly ones too. And there's a wide range of player counts on these, so that even if you only have a few people, some of these work for that. So I hope that helps everybody.
This list opened up my mind a little bit. I had a little more of a narrow idea of what party games are. This is a really nice wide range list, I think.
And these are the kind of games that are really great to play on the holiday if you're like spending some time with your family and things like that, just because they're so easy to get into.
Yeah, this is a gift you can give and immediately start utilizing, which is nice.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, folks. 12 games, party games. Check out all the rest of our 12 games of list, Miss Chris. All going up this 12 games of Christmas list this week, going up on our channel. Until next time, I'm Tom Bassel.
I'm Z Garcia.
I'm Roy Kennedy.
I'm Mike Licio.
Have fun partying. Woo!